Check, check, check. All right, we have sound. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If any of you don't know who I am, I'm going to give you a little background so that this amazingly exciting talk makes any sense at all. I'm Caleb Kraft. I ran Hackaday for several years, many years ago in its infancy, and then I was senior editor at Make magazine for a decade. And during this time, I have been watching 3D printing, mostly from the peripheral, but I am deeply entrenched now. And my current favorite question to hear is, what the frick do I print now? I see this question all the time. I see it pop up on Reddit, and usually, invariably, on Reddit, people bash them and dig into them, like, why are you asking such a stupid question? You have a 3D printer, there's a million things to print, and that's why they're asking the question. But I'm going to explain in a long and boring way why this is my favorite question to hear right now as a person in the 3D printing industry. So let's dig in. What the frick do I print now? Oh, before I do, I should explain my biases as well, because I am extremely biased. I'm now running Print Kits, which is a company that does this subscription service where you can sign up and get kits in the mail that you 3D print at home. We send you the electronics, the nuts, the bolts, etc. So I'm extremely biased in terms of print quality and ease of use. So I tend to lean that way. Just to be real about my biases. Also, I'm personal friends with Joe Prusa, so when I say Prusa printers are fantastic, keep that in mind. It's a bias. My Excel's broken, but Prusa printers are amazing. All right, so in the beginning, printers sucked. You can't see that. In the beginning, printers sucked. This was my first printer. This was a Lulzbot AO100. For some of you, this is ancient times, and for others of you, you're like, wow, that's a new machine. It's not even using threaded rod, right? So that was my first printer. And in the beginning, man, they sucked. I got this for Hackaday. It says 2013 there, but I think I got that in like 2011 or something, because I left Hackaday in 2012. I made these slides, so if they're wrong, I don't even know what's happening. So yeah, so the printers sucked back then, right? Like, it was a nightmare to get them printing in the first place. Nothing stuck. And then the prints you got off of them sucked as well. My first printer was a real letdown for me. It was the AO100, which was a commercial product you could just buy, right? I had them build it for me. I didn't even build it. And the prints I got off it had horrible elephant foot. There was Z-Wave. There was skew. Things didn't fit together. I remember emailing them over and over and over and being like, is this normal? Is this really what people are excited about? And I said yes. And at the time, it was state of the art. And things have changed since then. I mean, back then we were doing ABS primarily. It wasn't even PLA, and it sucked. How many of you remember that? How many of you had a 3D printer back then when it was the Mendel style? Oh, just a few. So a lot of you are more recent converts into the 3D printing. That's fantastic. Things gradually got better over the years, and so we started to see repositories pop up. You can't see what those are, but I've got printables and Thingiverse and Things and MakerWorld and all those now that we kind of take for granted. But in the beginning, all there was, of course, Thingiverse, which had like a lot of laser cut files too. It was supposed to be like the everything site back then. But it's grown, and now we have all these. And this is important because it feeds into that, what the frick do I print now? Then came the new wave, and this is a bit controversial. A lot of people hate Bamboo for reasons that have nothing to do with the printers themselves, usually. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's a legitimate reason to have complaints. It has to do with their software and their methods and their principles. But I will say that when Bamboo came along, they changed the industry in an instant. All they did is they took stuff we already had. They took stuff that at the time Voron was in its infancy, was doing, things the community designed, and they just made it work really well, really easily, and really cheap. This was what, like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago? The first X1C came to Midwest RepRap Fest, and it had a crowd because it was moving like freaking lightning. And you have all the old folks standing behind the crowd grumbling, and they're like, my machine did that a year ago. And you're right, but you had to build that machine and you had to tune that machine. And I guarantee when you go home to print something, you're going to have to fix that machine to get it to print again, right? But the people who bought these machines, these glorious, wonderful, closed, horrible business practice, glorious, wonderful machines are just hitting print and they're getting these perfect prints. And it changed the industry, absolutely changed the industry. And not necessarily in what people expect out of machines, but it changed it so that we have this entire different perception now. You have an entire market now that are people who are finally thinking of these machines as just a blip in the process, just a tool in the process that they don't have to consider, they don't have to think about other than the fact that it's going to spit out the thing, right? So the thought starts to become the design, how you're going to design your file to work and to print. And you know that when you design it and you hit print, it's actually going to come out and it's going to fit. And the parts are going to fit together because there's not skew on your machine. Hopefully your machine doesn't break and you have to try to fix it. But if you're like me and your machine's $250 and it breaks, you put it on Facebook Marketplace and you sell it for $50 and you buy a new one. And then you have 2 Voron kits that you haven't built for 2 years because they're sitting there being neglected, right? So they came along and they absolutely, absolutely changed the industry. They're possibly evil, but they are undeniably influential. Undeniably influential. Like, if you go into the market now and you sell a machine that doesn't move lightning fast and have a good user interface and just work out of the box, you're failing. You're struggling. If you look at any of these manufacturers and ask them honestly, like, what's competition like right now, you'll see them kind of like slump. We gotta get Clipper on it. We gotta tune it, and et cetera. Because you're not even competing anymore unless you have a different angle. We won't dig too far into that, but of course, every market you can find a different angle. Look at Voron; they've got an amazing product, but it's a completely different angle, completely different market. And I still haven't gotten to why I love that question, but I will, I promise. Noobs with these printers, don't think about printing. These things are everywhere. You go to every craft fair, you go on Etsy, you go wherever, and I get sick of them. You get sick of anything that's popular, right? I have no criticism for Cinderwing or the designers of those, and I have very little criticism for the people that are selling them, other than I think it's just, it's not my thing to go sell the dragons at craft fairs. But you see them everywhere, and the fact that you see them everywhere is indicative of something. There is an emerging market now, an emerging market that did not exist, didn't exist at all until these easy 3D printers that were reliable, that you knew you could hit print and get a finished product 99.9% of the time, didn't exist until then. Now, some of you, if you're old, you might have remembered like the emergence of YouTube and how at the beginning it was all just like you'd put stuff on there, the video quality was kind of crap, and people may or may not watch it, and it was just for fun. And then this whole industry kind of evolved and appeared, and now you have professional YouTubers of all different types and styles. You have different niches and casts in just YouTube, right? We're seeing this at its infancy in 3D printing now. We're seeing entire companies like Print Kits, where you can get a kit in the mail every month, pop up that rely on the fact that our users don't have to think about it. They don't have to worry about it. If I design a kit well enough, I know that your printer is going to print it dimensionally accurately so it'll fit together. And that's amazing. And I'm only one little niche in this entire industry that's just beginning and just starting that's going to rely on 3D printers in people's homes. Now, none of you here will know this. I don't think Alicia used to work with me at Make Magazine. I don't think we ever discussed this, but even though I am a 3D printer evangelist now, I used to kind of think they were, I don't know if dumb was the right thing. I thought they were small and niche and were never going to really blow up because they were such a pain and required so much effort. I thought it was always going to be hobbyists who enjoyed tinkering. But I was converted years ago now, and this, I think, is proof that I was wrong, right? The numbers I've seen, Prusa did the the video, I think last year or the year before, where they shared their sales numbers, and they had something like 16 million printers or something go out. I don't remember the number. Don't quote me on that number, but it was huge. It was so much bigger than I thought, and it was growing by a percentage every year. And this is Prusa, who is not the cheapest, and nowadays isn't the fastest, and etc. I'm biased. I love Prusa's printers, so I still would suggest a Mark IV over anything else. However, it does sit sandwiched in between a few Bamboos in my studio. So, the noobs have stuff. There's community, it's easy, the tools can be divisive, but there's an entire industry popping up. Product quality prints are here now. We see people selling them as products. And where this ties into me, many years ago, if you've been to Maker Faire, you might remember MakerBot used to do these little turtle shells. With the first MakerBots that they were selling, they designed these turtle shells that had an RC car underneath. And it was kind of a concept of like, one day maybe you could 3D print your product. And now we see, if you go to Maker World, you can get these incredible kits that you can 3D print at home that are just as good, more accurate if you're a hobbyist. For example, the Ghostbuster community is a very vibrant and enthusiastic community that will fight with each other all day long about the accuracy of any single thing. I guarantee there are arguments going on, but this is more accurate than any Ghostbuster or Ecto-1 toy you're gonna find in a store, because the community themselves created it. And these are product quality. These are things you can go onto Maker World and buy. It's here. It's finally here. Maybe you see some little lines in it, but it's here. Kits are, of course, where my focus is, and that's the next step. I think you're going to be seeing kits exploding. There are a few kit companies right now. Deposition Sound, just outside this door, sells kits for speakers. Print Kits, which is us. We sell kits, of course, that you get. We have a subscription service, which is, again, just another little niche, even within kits, where you can get kits in the mail. But you know who's really killing it right now, and some of you are going to hate to hear it? Bamboo. Bamboo is actually leading on this one. If you go to the Maker World site, their website where they've got all their stuff hosted, there's a button in Maker Supply or something like that, where you as an end user can upload your file with their parts available, and people can just click one button and buy the parts and download your file, and you get a commission. That's what this one is. This one here is an example from Maker World. It's a $135 kit that gives you the parts to do a lightsaber. And I guarantee, again, because this is coming out of the community of enthusiasts, I guarantee that the lightsabers you're going to find on Maker World are more screen accurate, or more lore accurate, or have more features or whatever than what you're going to see companies like Mattel or somebody doing, because they have to mass produce. They have to worry about, injection molding and what the packaging is going to be like in the store, and their margins are completely different. So you're going to see these kits exploding, because not only is it fun to print your thing, often it's a better product than what you can go buy in the store. And again, it doesn't matter if you like Bamboo or not, they are leading the charge in this in terms of what's out there and available. Now at Print Kits, we have a lot of plans and a lot of fantasies about being able to do some very similar things as them, and hopefully with enough people signing up, we can make those happen, but they're not there yet, so I can't brag about them. So I gotta brag about Bamboo. Check it out for sure. Maker World has some incredible kit stuff. You can just get you can just get the parts and print your own. So why do I love that question? What do I print now? It's a clear signifier. Anytime you're looking for a market to open, there's got to be some signifier that you can identify. And the more you see that thing happen, and often it's somebody asking where they can find something. Whenever you see that signifier happening, there's a market opening up there. There's opportunity opening up there. And you can hop in and you can capitalize on that if you want, or you can be influential in that if you want. If you want to ensure that this massive market is open and communicative, maybe you support things that you agree with, like if you don't agree with Bamboo, maybe you don't support theirs, although I think they're doing better now about open source and stuff like that. But for me, It's perfect because that's what I'm doing, is I'm doing kits. But I've identified this market, and I see this question all the time. I absolutely love seeing it. I hate seeing people bashed for it. You might think it's a stupid question at first, but this is why I love the question, what the frick do I print now? It means people aren't worrying about fixing their printer. They're worrying about printing. Oh, that's the last slide. That was a shorter talk than I intended, but that's it. That's why I love the question, what the frick do I print now? Does anybody have any thoughts or questions? None. Print kits? Oh, I'll give you a pitch. I'll give you a spiel. Thank you. Okay, print kits. Used to be called Alien 3D, if any of you have heard of Alien 3D. Before that, it was called MakerBox, if any of you have heard of MakerBox. MakerBox was acquired by Alien 3D. We took over Alien 3D. We rebranded. So we wanted nice, clear branding. We wanted you to know what you were getting when you saw the name, Print Kits. You kind of get the idea. You print it, it's a kit. So what we do is a subscription service right now. Every month you get a box in the mail that has the electronics in it, motors, screws, bolts, whatever parts you need to build it. There's a link to the files. We also supply a video that shows exactly how to assemble it and exactly how to put it together. Because oftentimes now that the printer does a good enough job, the part that's missing is the documentation. So we're focusing on that. We got grand fantasies about having more complicated and bigger budget kits available as one-offs, so you don't have to subscribe. Even though I run a subscription company, I'm not a fan of subscriptions personally. I like to just buy a product. So I'm really working hard so that at Print Kits we can just offer some products, but we got to get there. It's a lot of work. We're fighting with the tariff situation right now. But yeah, that's what Print Kits is. You should check us out over there. We got a special deal going on right now that if you sign up here, you get a box for free. It's a $50 value. Which question? I'm happy to promote Print Kits, and I'll tell you about our projects. The problem that it's a little bit frustrating because of our lineage. It's been a mystery box from earlier when we acquired it, so we can't tell you the future projects because it's supposed to be a surprise when you get it in the mail. So I can tell you some of our past ones. We did a very recent one, which was a lamp that looks like DNA. It's on our table out there. It's really fascinating. And so you got the microcontroller, the LEDs, the wire, and then you 3D print the lamp around it. Another one that I designed myself that I thought was really fun is a giant mechanical keyboard button, just identical to the ones that go in your mechanical keyboard. And it comes with all the electronics in it. It actually emulates a keyboard, so you can plug it into any computer. And I've programmed mine just to be the escape key right now. But you can program it to be a word or any key, I'll get to in just a second, or any key at all. And so you can just walk by and smash it, and it does whatever. And it's a giant mechanical button. And we have some really cool kits coming since we acquired it. We just started. We've been elevating the quality of the kits and the quality of the documentation constantly. It's a real struggle. If you've tried to design this stuff and do documentation, it's a lot of work, but that's what we're doing now. Now, since I'm promoting Print Kits, I should also, again, throw some promotion out there to other people. MakerWorld, regardless of what you think of what they're doing, they do something really cool, which is they have a library of parts you can choose from. And you can design something and select, they have this collection of nuts and bolts and springs and this motor. I want those on my file here. And then you have your 3D printed stuff and you can promote that then. And somebody can just go to MakerWorld and just click buy and they get those parts you selected out of the library shipped to them. And we're totally ripping off that idea because that's what this community does. That's what open source is, right? And they weren't the ones to think of that. The bomb shopping cart's been around forever. You can see it on Adafruit as well. It's a great idea. We should do that, and we plan on it. We're just not there yet. Right here, you had a question. Oh, I'm happy to give an opinion on that, actually. So if you followed me at Make for years and years, you know I don't do predictions generally and I don't share opinions generally because I don't consider myself a thought leader. But I do observe and I watch. And there are some things I predicted a little bit, shared my opinions on, such as bamboo changing the industry, and it did, absolutely. I personally think, just personal opinion, I think that the things like the articulated toys, I think the popularity of that's going to tank in the next couple of years. And they're just going to have to elevate what it is that they do. I think it's just market saturation. I mean, this is not a I'm not being smart here, right? They're everywhere. You go to a craft fair and you find 6 booths of Cinderwing dragons. They're competing with each other at the same event. There's going to have to be an inflection point where it dips. And so there's going to have to be some other signifier, or not signifier, some other selling point that elevates them. And I personally think it's going to end up being assemblies. Like they're going to be building more complicated things like radio-controlled cars or speaker systems or something. And I think that'll be the thing that separates it. And I would guess it's going to happen like within the next 2 years. You're going to see a big shift where it'll almost be cute. You'll show up at a craft fair and you'll be like, oh, there's a table with 3D printed, articulated, cute little animals on it. That's cute. I remember when those were everywhere. I think it'll be like fidget spinners. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Like that happens in markets, right? But there's going to have to be some thing that makes them stand out because there's just so much competition now over the same kind of basic hit print and you're done, right? What's up over here? Even though I run a kit company that the customer puts together, I think the general market is going to be much happier with something that's already assembled. But it'll be just like a product you get in the store is effectively they assembled a kit, right? They designed a kit, they assemble it. I think that when it comes to that like craft fair market, there's going to be something that's going to stand out that people are going to start designing more actual products, like what we think of as a product. Right, you're gonna show up and it's gonna be a Bluetooth radio that has a beautiful visual design and a nice driver in it, and like an actual product. And that's the amazing thing about this current slate of printers is that people can now do that in a repeatable, reliable, and cost-effective manner in their homes. I mean, this is just a drastic change. This is the fantasy that we used to talk about with those old crappy printers. Yeah. I got here.
Oh, I was just saying, I just happen to have a couple of products that I actually do sell here and on Etsy, and it's a board game and a dice holder, but they're not, they're just products. The fact that they're 3D printed is just how I make them, not necessarily the pitch.
Yeah. Okay. So in my mind here, let's break this down for just a second here. What makes this stand out? It's a functional item. Right? So it serves a purpose. The person's buying it for that purpose. They're not buying it because it's 3D printed or because it's cute. They're buying it because they need that purpose solved, so that's what makes it stand out. And you're going to see more and more of that, like there's a thing that makes it stand out, that makes it more of an actual product instead of just a cute little trinket. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally new to this. I'm coming here to get smart.
Okay.
You talk about bamboo. What are some of the brands that I don't have time to screw around
Yep.
with them? Out of the box, they work well, and they would work with your kits.
So I knew this was going to come up, and that's why I put out that bias, warning. Prusa printers have been, when I was at Make Magazine in 2016, I think, or 15, we reviewed the Mark III. It blew everything out of the water in terms of reliability and quality, and they have been at the top since. They're more expensive than some of the other printers, and admittedly, the bamboo machines can almost match them in quality and reliability. So when you look at like a Mark IV from Prusa, or now the Core 1, I've not used the Core 1, but so I'll stick with the Mark IV. If you look at the Mark IV, it's like what, $1,000 bucks? You can go to Bamboo and get the A1 series for what? Well, the tariffs messed it up, but it was like $300-400, and it does multicolor, and it's easily as nice of a machine in terms of quality and reliability that you get out of it.
And I have one follow-up.
Yeah, what's that?
Again, for the practicality of me using it, if I want to avoid trips to Home Depot to get a little plastic doodad, are there files of little plastic doodads that I can download for screw inserts, washers, like auto body, push-in?
Yeah. There are, but, and it's a big but on that, you're going to have to do some digging. There are some of the companies, like, I want to say it's DigiKey, but it may not be DigiKey. There are some companies that share files for McMaster, thank you. It's McMaster-Carr. They share digital files for a lot of things. McMaster-Carr does, which sounds like what you would be looking for. But on top of that, all the repositories like printables, Colts, well, maybe not Colts so much, but printables, MakerWorld, things, whatever those are, you'll have to go there and search and figure out what people called it, and that can be the struggle, but that stuff is out there. All right, we got several back here. You're right here in the front here. This. Yeah, that looks so good. Yeah, yeah. I got a question behind you here. Yeah. Yeah. That is a very important and big question. So when I just started working at Print Kits at the beginning of the new year, and when I came on board, I had the same question, and I had some real strong opinions about it. And I'll give you the basics, the short version. We do not focus on educational. If you want educational, there's KiwiCo, there's Crunch Labs. There's a lot of competition in educational. And if you're going to do educational, you really should develop a curriculum, and you should do it right. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to appeal to all the hobbyists out there that just like building stuff. That's me. That's everybody I know, even if they have kids. They want to build stuff. They just want to have fun. So the core concept for us, the goal for us, is that it be a fun-to-assemble kit, which has a whole underlying list of things that means. It means we're not selling you a print-in-place product. Even though I personally kind of specialized in designing print-in-place mechanisms, I don't do that for print kits because that's not fun. You print it, it's done. You should have to assemble it. You should have to put screws in. You should have to put, you know what I mean? So we want it to be fun to make for the average tinkerer. And then I forgot the second half of what I was going to say and what you were talking about. But it was really good. It was really good. It was really good. What's that? I'm sure you were. It was really important, but it was good. Well, way back in the back here, the flannel. She asked if you go out to our table and you see the really cool kits from the past, can you buy those kits? Or can you only get the mystery kits in the future? And this is a sore point. This is a sore point. Because I had the same question. I'm not a big subscriber person. I just want to buy a product. You can't go buy the old ones right now. Right now. You can't go buy the old ones. In the past, there was some questionable, like you'd find a community file on printables and they would sell it in the kit, and I don't know if they got permission, I don't know if they paid the author, etc. So I can't do an okay to go reproduce the old ones because it doesn't feel ethically right. Moving forward, what we're doing is we're selecting a few that are hits. If it's real popular, maybe we'll do a second run. Maybe we'll offer it as something you can purchase. Because I had the same frustration. I looked through the old ones. I was like, hey, that looks cool. Can I get that one? And they're like, no. Well, then why do we even show them off, right? So moving forward, we're doing some select ones as kits you can buy, and we're separating, we haven't announced this, and we don't have any to show off yet, but we're separating the subscription kits from what we're calling elite kits, which have a different budget that are just going to be for sale. So our subscription kits, we're working with an extremely tight budget. We're importing electronics from China. They have to be like a very limited, very, very limited experience. We want to design some stuff that is much more complicated and much more cool and much more of a finished product, that maybe the end goal is to have a product, you know, that you can buy all the time. So to answer your question, mostly no, a little bit yes. At our table right now, you can see last month's kit, which was the air hockey designed by Brian Vines. You should all check out Brian Vines' YouTube channel. He made this air hockey kit. It was a hit. So we made 300 more and brought them to the event to sell at the event. And that's the first step towards rectifying that really, really frustrating situation. We got a question way back here. Yes. Okay, so he's asking, are there any major features in like high-end printers that I'm excited about seeing trickle down? Yes, and it's multicolor. The Bamboos started the revolution, even though, again, multicolor existed before it. It was there. The MMU is older than Bamboo. The Prusa MMU is older than Bamboo. But I've used it, and if you've used it, you know it doesn't freaking count compared to a Bamboo that you take out of the box, you put the filament in, and it just works and does multicolor. And since they did it, now everybody has to copy them and do it. And now we're seeing multicolor everywhere. But it's still in its infancy. If you've used a Bamboo AMS, if you've used, you know, these other machines, you know that you get tons and tons of waste. Sometimes the end product isn't what you were expecting, and you got to go back and tweak things. It's in its infancy. And I think over the next few years, we're going to see a lot more experimenting with different ways to do multiple colors and multiple materials. So we're going to see some of it. I don't even know if it's here yet, but we're seeing multi-tool heads being more popular because there's major advantages there, right? We have the Prusa XL that is a multi-tool head. If you're one of the tinkering nuts, you remember the E3D tool changers that I think it's been discontinued just recently. They've been around. What's that? Still have it, haven't built it, right? That's the biggest problem, right? It's not just plug and play and go, but the Bamboo was. So now you have these people who know absolutely nothing about 3D printing and don't care and don't have to know, and that's beautiful, that are doing multicolored prints out of the box, right? And we're going to see more of an evolution of that because the current solutions are kind of crap. The AMS is amazing. It's amazing crap, right? Because it's so much waste and it's just got all these flaws. But it's amazing. It's the best thing on the market right now. Aside from multi-tool heads. Multi-tool heads are technically the best. And there's a new one that I just saw some videos on that instead of the whole extruder being swappable, they're just swapping the filament path. So all the mechanisms, all the weight, you only pay once for that stepper motor, et cetera. I think it's made by Biku. Does anybody know which one I'm talking about? Just look up Index multi-head printer. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, you get the point. Like, we're in the kind of infancy of figuring out multicolor because that's going to be the next thing, and multi-material. And we're seeing every day new little advancements on how we use these things now that they're easily accessible. For example, seeing lots of people now that are doing a PETG layer on PLA if they do supports, so you don't get a nasty, ugly bottom side on your support layer and it peels off easy. We couldn't do that before. Like, that was a nightmare. We could do it, but it was a nightmare. And now you can do it so easy. I've got a Prusa XL at home. It's an amazing machine. 2 of my 5 heads are being buggy, which is kind of frustrating, but that's how it is when you're in the early stages. You go out here, you see these Vorons with multiple heads. They're just amazing. It's absolutely a wonderful thing to be able to print with, but I really think all these, like, having 6 full extruders on a machine is not something we're going to see in 2 years. We're going to see a much more elegant solution like the Index or something like that is allowing us to do multiple color and multiple material. I think if you want like the Make magazine, like, far-reaching, we're going to be getting realistically into materials like conductive materials in the near future. We're going to be getting the conductive materials and stuff like that in the near future. Currently, conductive materials suck if you're in electronics because the resistance is exponentially more the further you go from your point. It's not like a wire. So if you have like a long stretch through your material, your resistance is insane. I think we're going to be seeing more of that integrated. It's something we've fantasized about since the beginning of 3D printers, and it's been there, but it's not, again, it's not at that bamboo level of you pull it out of the box and an idiot can use it, right? And I don't say that in a bad way, because I'm an idiot. Like, I love it. As soon as I got a bamboo, I had like 15 printers at home. I got rid of all of them except for my Prusas and my bamboos. Just got rid of them. Anybody else? Any questions? Any thoughts? Wow, you had a lot of questions. Oh, here we got one back here. What am I gonna print next? It's kind of a boring answer, but I run a charity for people with physical disabilities. It's called the Controller Project. You can go to thecontrollerproject.com and learn more about it. And I print parts that clip onto controllers to help people that have limb difference. So if they're missing fingers, missing arms, etc. These are all community designs. I hold contests where other people design things. The only stipulation of the contest is that the files remain free and open to the public, so that anybody anywhere can print them. They're all on printables. So that realistically is the next thing I'll print. After that, I will print the next prototype for the top secret project that is going to come out not this month, but next month if I get it done. And the first prototype is sitting on my table. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it looks like a skull wearing headphones. So if you go over there and you see a skull wearing headphones, I can't tell you what the project is, but that's the first prototype of the print. That's the first prototype of that print. Anybody else? Yep, what's up?
So going back to your title, what the frick do you print next? How do you decide? Say you're at the computer and you printed 100 different things and you just burned out. How do you decide what the frick to print next?
Yeah. I mean, I do love the question. It's an impossible question to answer, right? Because it depends on you. I personally come from a background of education and autodidact, like teaching yourself new skills. And so my default answer is go find a CAD program and design something, even if it's just a box, and print that. And I guarantee by the time you're done doing that, you're gonna have a list this long of things you want to design and print. And that's gonna nudge you over onto the side of designing things, which is where I think the real power is in these 3D printers and where the real fun is. Yeah, here, you with the purple shirt.
Very new to 3D printing.
Yes.
Got my printer about 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And you talked about programs. What program would you recommend for design?
For designing, it's a long list and it depends on what kind of stuff you like to design and what your budget is. If you like to do organic stuff like sculptures and sculpting, I use a program called Nomad, which is on tablets, so you can see it and you can do it with the pencil right there in front of you. And it's like sculpting clay, if that's your vibe, right? It's called Nomad. There's a free one on the computer that runs in your browser called sculpting one. But we'll get to Tinkercad in just a second. I can't remember the free one, but there's a free. If you look up free digital sculpting, there's one that you can do for free in your browser on your computer, but I prefer it on a tablet so you can actually like write on the surface and it feels like you're sculpting. For CAD, Tinkercad is free to begin learning. That would be for like like boxes and blocky things. And when you move on from free, I've been using Onshape recently. It's a little bit pricier. There is a free version though. And I've just been so impressed with how it works. I've been enjoying it, but it's a little bit more complicated if you've never used CAD before. Tinkercad is a great one to start with, and Nomad I highly recommend. There's also a long list I'm not going to get into. All right.
In terms of materials, what are you seeing why you coming like better for say food grade materials or more industrial materials? Anything about that coming out?
I honestly am not in that area enough to have any expertise. My coworkers at Cocoa Press, who do the 3D printing chocolate, they could probably tell you more about food grade materials. For me, the best thing is just getting higher quality PLA that doesn't get brittle with with the moisture in the air, and better PETGs. I used to hate printing in PETG, and now I do it like half the time. It's better, but PETG is generally a better material. It doesn't get brittle. And when I'm doing the controllers for people, I don't want them to be brittle. All right, I thought I saw hands over here. What's up?
I just in response to his question about the food safe stuff. This is ABS, and then I coat it with a resin. So sometimes it's just you have to combine materials and processes.
I think I'm going over time. I'm happy to answer questions all day. I'm good? 5 more minutes? All right, all right. What's up? Material or brand? But I can't do PLA? You asked my favorite and then you take the top 2 off? You mean my 3rd favorite? I mean, I don't like any of them that are not those 2, but I use them. I use ASA for some stuff around my farm because it holds up in the sun and we have extremely high humidity. So PLA, even though PLA holds up better than people think, our humidity just trashes it where I live. And then it's kind of a cop-out, but anything glow-in-the-dark I love, but I don't use it because it trashes my printers. But I love it. I have spools of glow-in-the-dark filament that I'm never going to use, but I bought it anyway because I'm just a sucker. I'm like a 4-year-old. I'm a sucker for glow-in-the-dark stuff. Yeah, right on. All right, maybe one more question? Anybody? Anything? All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me ramble and listening to me get up here and blabber. Those were wonderful questions, better than my talk. Thank you so much.